Hey, good afternoon. First of all, let me thank you for being patient enough to wait for this live session. Well, sometimes there are certain things beyond our control. We were all ready, but then some issues probably held us back. Anyway, we are here live with you as part of the series of our technique discussion with respect to mains examination. And when I talk about mains examination, I basically need to tell you that there are certain areas where you can really make a big difference. GS as a common paper, I mean, I think there are limits that beyond which nobody can push, no matter what rank you have got, what rank you got selection from. But in optional, you definitely have got some edge, and that's why you have got some optionals which are more attractive for the people. But amongst the common papers, the optionals are very different. Essay is one paper where you can really make a big difference, where you can actually take some advantage and you can go ahead of others. And that is what I'm going to talk about it today. Essay paper, I suppose there are some people who have lost their ranks selection also because of essay performance. And then there are some people who have got their ranks and then good performance because they could really go for a score 140 plus that you have got. There is a lot of people who have done it. But I think there are certain things that need to be kept in mind. And this afternoon, while you're with me, I'm trying to share with you that how we could possibly ensure that it is not being a reason of our poor performance, A, and then B, and more importantly, it becomes the reason for our high ranks that we have got. And it can be planned in time, and then executed with the small pointers which I would like to share that this afternoon with you. Well, if I talk about myself, I am sure you know that my journey into UPSC Civil Service General Studies preparation started in '92, and the very following year, 1993, essay paper was introduced. Since then, I have been connected to the essay writing, and then I suppose I have evolved as my career evolved with this essay paper, as one would imagine. In fact, I have been doing this for decades now. From '93 onwards, at one stage or other, I have been talking about essay writing. And I've met some insights, I've met some reading, and I've got some of my personal takes which I would like to share with you, which I have collected over a period of time. Well, for this workshop, I think I'd like you to first be sensitized about essay as a unique form of writing. Remember the same thing. If some of you have watched my previous video on answer writing technique, if you have not, we will like to provide that as part of the link here, where I was talking about what is an answer writing. Similarly, I would like you to appreciate that your writing here is an essay. It's an essay writing. And this essay writing is different again from the other forms of writing, like an article is different form of writing, a journal is different form of writing, answer is a different form of writing, letter is a different form of writing, a story is a different form of writing, poem is a different form of writing, drama is a different form of writing, thesis is a different form of writing, and probably dissertation is a different form of writing, and note is a different form of writing. So Of all these various forms that I talk about, I think one of the most flexible ones is essay writing. It is flexible and also at some stages not flexible. Flexible, when I say, I basically mean that you have a title and you can treat it the way you want because this is how you have lived your journey in writing. And that is what is where it is flexible. And therefore, you can bring in some component of quote writing. You can bring in some form of thesis writing. You can bring in some form of story writing, anecdotes. You can bring in some form of poem writing, some form of other forms of writing that you can imagine. But it is also uh, inflexible to some extent because you have got a title given on the top, which is where your commitment lies. If you're committed to the title, you're not allowed to go beyond the scope of the title. And that is where it becomes inflexible. You can have an article which can possibly have an independent paragraph which does not independently connects with the theme. But here, by definition, I would like you to look at the definition of essay. By definition, it does not deviate from it. In fact, I would like all of you to kindly look at the syllabus of essay writing. There are two places, three places I would imagine. People are only talk about syllabus, main syllabus of UPSC. But then there is the syllabus of PT, which doesn't make much of a difference even if you've not read. But there is a syllabus of essay. I like you to look at that carefully, and you will find exactly the line and the theme that I'm talking about at this moment. That you have to write exactly on the theme that has been provided to you, the topic, the subject that has been provided to you. And that is the definition of essay is all about. So please look at the Gazette of UPSC and then look into the definition of essay writing. And that would be definitely very relevant. And I would imagine another place when people don't look at the syllabus is interview syllabus. Anyway, I'm not talking about interview at this stage, so I'll leave that alone. And then would like to talk to you about essay writing as a personal journey that you have got, which is partly flexible and partly not flexible. So I told you about the flexibility of it, that my voice is not coming. I think I can do something about it. Can I do my voice setting? Volume is to the maximum. Yes. Is that any better now? I hope it is getting better. But please bear with the old pair of lungs which I have got. I am trying to be a little louder now, and I have put that voice to the maximum. Amrish, I hope you're getting it correct now. So what I was trying to share with you here is that in this part of uh, writing that you have got, you have to be, for the inflexible part, you should also be very careful about that you're writing this essay for a specific purpose. And the purpose is getting marks. And then you have to be a little careful, in fact, very careful about the person you're going to write it for. The audience has to be very clear. The examiner, who belongs to nearly the generation of Dr. Khan, generation of your parents, maybe slightly senior to your parents. So you have to be careful about that, who you're writing for, why you're writing, of course, what you're writing on. That's what we just explained to you. And then the time in which you are writing. A lot of people mismanage the time and assume all the 90 minutes that is given for one essay is all the time that they have for a writing essay. No. Part of it is actually for writing essay, and part of it is actually conceiving essay, and part of it is also for editing the essay. I would like to talk about those format differently. In fact, I would like you to, at this stage, sensitize that you have to be very careful about the time part of essay writing, the audience part of essay writing, the topic part of essay writing, the purpose part of essay writing, and then I suppose the exam kind of context in which you're writing essay. But when I talk about essay writing, and then I expect you to be preparing for essay writing, I would imagine that there would be two basic components in that. One component is that uh, what I am going to write. This is the prime concern for most of you. And then you always are worried that how should I collect information, from where I should collect information, what are the themes on which I should be collecting information. In fact, I would be sharing with you today. And if you want a copy of it, you want a PDF of it, you can find this in the link later. You can download yourself. What I have done is that over the years, what I have done is I have made a pigeonhole, if I can say that. I made some compartments, and those are the pigeonholes of themes on which we have been having essay topic being asked on a regular basis. And those pigeonholes, if you're sensitive about, you'll find almost every year this pigeonhole I made maybe 2 decades ago. And then since then, all the topics which have been asked, I have been docking them in one of those other, one or the other. So these are the basic broad heads under which the essay topics have been asked. These are the basic themes on which the essays have been asked. And I can imagine that you can at best prepare for these themes. I suppose I have a copy in my hand, and then I would like you to show also. Can I request Mr. Ankit to kindly share your screen and then show the topics which have been asked in the past? So here you have got those themes. Like first theme that I have got here is political, administrative, international themes. And this collection basically goes from 97 until 2024 I have collected, and the different topics are being asked. So you can see some topics like judicial activism, reservation politics and empowerment, 106th Amendment that we're talking about now. But then UPSC asked this topic so many years ago. So I suppose we have got my vision of an ideal world order, responsibility of media in a democracy, the mask of new imperialism, how should a civil servant conduct himself, India's role in promoting ASEAN. These kind of topics, international, administrative, political, has been one common area from where we have had questions asked. And since 97, 2024, you could imagine there are 28 topics have been asked in nearly 2 decades. So 28 topics until 2024 you have got asked. You can easily imagine that how many of those which are there. Then I expect you to, I'll tell you how to collect information on them. But let us look at the other areas from where we have got the essay topics are being asked, such as women and gender. This is where you have got women is God's best creation. We have got greater political power alone will not improve women's greater political power alone will not improve women's plight, women's empowerment challenges and prospects. Empowerment alone cannot help women. See, the similar topics are there. If women rule the world, so one expects that you collect some information on women-related issues. And there are 11 topics have been asked in last 2 decades. So one can easily imagine that the frequency, that how we have got the topics being asked. The third topic that we have got, or third theme that we have got on which the essay topics have been asked, is education. And when I say education, I expect that you should be having some information about education, like value-based science and education, modern technological education, privatization of higher education, what is real education, education for all campaign in India, myth or reality, independent thinking should be encouraged. I mean, education-related topics, I can imagine there are 14 topics have been asked until 2023. Mathematics is the music of reason. It can be a philosophical topic. It can also be educational topic. Education is what remains after one has forgotten what one has learned in schools. So, likewise, we have got social and cultural contemporary issues. Without spending much time in reading these topics, I like you to have a copy of it. But I like to underline one thing. There are 31 topics have been asked. Social, cultural, and contemporary issue, which means what? It is one of the favorite areas for UPSC for asking question. Then we have a similar topic, this social, cultural, and contemporary issues. One would imagine would include also of, I would say, international, domestic. The society is bigger than the country, larger. Culture is even which sometimes is within the country or goes beyond the country. Then we have got some exclusive Indian ethos related topics which have been asked. And then I would imagine there are 13 topics asked in the last 20 years. So that's another angle to look at this. Then comes technology topics. And then we have got 12 topics have been asked, the last being in 2021. What is research but a blind date with knowledge? It can be technology, it can be philosophical topic also. Technology as the silent factor in international relations. I mean, that kind of thing. Social media is inherently a selfish medium. So that kind of technology related topics one can expect that has been coming in this. But I'm sure you're aware the biggest bunch of topics which have been asked. I mean, there was like earlier one topics asked. Then after that, there were two topics being asked. I think from 13, 14, we have got two topics being asked. Out of the 8 topics, UPSC asks you to write 2 essays. And then philosophical abstract topics, they have really dominated since then. And then philosophical abstract topics, one would imagine, they are like true religion cannot be misused, the modern doctors and his patients, the march of science and the erosion of human values. I mean, I think spirituality and scientific temper, if youth knew, if age could, this list goes on and on. And there we have got, I would imagine, there are 52 topics. Can you beat it? 52 topics have been asked from this area in last about 20 years. So one can really see this is by far the most important segment of the entire scheme of things when it comes to essay. And that's where you have got your flight of imagination would actually be tested. And the last segment that we have got is economic topics. And then economic topics like the resource management in the Indian context, the implication of globalization for India, what resources should be under the control of the central government, food security for sustainable national development. Globalization would finish. Globalization has been a favorite topic and they have asked it more than once. And I think one would imagine that there are 17, 17 topics have been asked from the economic spheres. So one finds that way that UPSC, if you look at the long time span, and if you want to prepare for your essay topics, these are the areas from where I am expecting that you are collecting information on, and you are rich with the content part. But now, can I just tell you that how we can go about how we can go about collecting information? For collecting information, I would like you to tell you that on these respective themes that I just showed you, that political, women, education, philosophical, I like you to collect information, keeping these topics, keeping these themes in mind, concepts. If you can write it down, I can possibly tell you those dimensions that you should be having. You should collect some concepts. On these themes, do refer certain books. And I think you don't need to read the entire book. You can possibly read the gist of a book, a broad highlight of a book. So, concept, book, quotes you should have on the theme of education, theme of women, theme of education, whatever technology. You should have certain quotes. Then also, I would imagine that you should be prepared with some case studies, so to say. I think some case study that will be really relevant, and they can really help you write the essay effectively. I'll explain that in a while. Then also, you should be ready with some factual information, some data. They come very handy for uh, analysis. When you do analysis, I'll talk about that in a few minutes. Then also, I would like you to have some collection about the institutions associated with it. Let's say for education, what are the global institutions associated? And it's so easy in your time to search for them. Global institutions, domestic institutions dealing with women, dealing with education, dealing with administration, dealing with whatever philosophies, international institutions, domestic institution, international best practices. Like if it is administration, if it is women development, what is Rwanda model of women development? What is Finland model of women empowerment? I think these kind of things. What is Singapore model of administration? So I think international best practices will make your answers look very effective. I like you to look for, shall we say, philosophers and thinkers. These philosophers and thinkers would provide some depth, and especially if the essay happens to be of the philosophical type, abstract topic, there you definitely will be much more ahead. See, a lot of people think that I have prepared for essay, I have got enough content, I can write. I understand you can write. But then imagine there will always be a difference with somebody who just walks into the exam hall and somebody who prepares and walks into the examination hall. They got to be different. I want to be the second type of person who is there prepared about it. Some current development on the topic, on the women empowerment, if you've got some government programs or something of the current development, some report has come, you could possibly take up those current development. Some powerful verbs, that makes a difference. And try having sensitivity of those powerful verbs, so to say. I mean, uh, you can use those is, are, as, has, these kind of verbs you can use. But then I think if you can have some words like appears, causes, yields, responsible for. I think that is something which I like you to really have some powerful verbs collected. However, the content part, I'm a little less worried. But what I'm more worried is that a lot of people, since they have written essay as part of their school education, they have written essays on my best friend and happy Diwali and happy Dashera, and then they would always feel that, hey, I can write one more essay because in my school I got good marks in essay writing. No, there is a lot of difference in the topics and a lot of expectations that you have got. So one has to be a little more careful about essay writing techniques. And I suppose there are so many books that are written on essay writing technique. Sputnik and White is one of the classical work on the elements of a style, as one can say. There's so many books. Arthur Plotnik, coming to my mind, is another book that I can imagine that you can keep. Also, they say, I say, that is Gerald Graff and Kathy B. Gerald Graff and Kathy B. I really like the title of this book. They say, I say. So that we have got, there's so many more books that we have got. Arthur Plotnik is another book that I don't think I want to sound too academic at this stage. But then these are the books which gives you, I would say, a lot of confidence that if you have been exposed to this little bit on this how to write technique. However, of course, we'll be conducting for those people who are writing mains this year a special segment of 1 week of technique exposure and practice as part of our personalized skill training program. That will be different. At that stage, we like to individually sensitize people how to approach essays like mathematics is the music of reason. This is probably one of the finest topic that we have got. I'll be talking about in a while as to how to really break that topic into essay writing. There are so many standard techniques that we have got. And then I suppose it is important for us to really understand that how we can break. Because the topic that you have just mentioned, Amarjit, is that mathematics is the music of reason. A lot of time people have been on the net writing this is the most difficult topic which UPSC ever asked. But then I think if you know the technique of dissecting the essay, if you know the technique of ideation of a topic, I suppose it should not be difficult. I think just before starting this session, I have recorded a small video which details about how to break a particular topic, this topic or any topic. Uh, Sir, can you please write down the name of these books? Do you really want to read them? I think in fact, I wrote one book which is out of print. It was published by VPG Books, uh, uh, Compendium of Technique of Writing Essay. I should be having a copy of that book, which I would like to share. Uh, but then I suppose if you want to buy a certain book, I would like you to basically uh, mention Strunk and White, Strunk and White, the elements of style. That's one book I referred. Another book I referred was uh, Arthur Plotnik, Arthur, Plotnik, Plotnik, Arthur Plotnik. I don't know if I mentioned this or not. Philip Leopard, uh, Phillip, Philip, Lopate. And then the favorite title that I've got, Gerald Graff, Gerald, Graff, Graff, and Kathy B, Cathy, Kathy B. They say, I say. That's interesting. And of course, one book by Dr. Khan, Compendium of Techniques of Essay Writing. I suppose I was talking about, uh, I suppose, I hope you getting this name of the books that I was referring. There are many more books that you can think of, but I don't want you to read too many books because it is here. I'm going to tell you certain techniques, and if you're writing mains this year, we have 1 week program when I would not only tell you about the techniques, but I'll make you practice those techniques. If you're writing this year, that'll be very handy. Otherwise, in class over a week, we do talk about all these techniques. More than a week class I take for explaining, which I'm going to give you a very short version of it to you here right now. So coming back to the point I was talking about, that a very crucial part of essay writing is that you are able to break the essay into various ideas, and then those ideas are broken into paragraphs, and the paragraphs are analyzed. So there are 10 exclusive points that we have got. In fact, just before this, I was. You got it. Thank you. Good to hear. I was just. I would request Mr. Ankit that the video that I recorded, I needed a DG board. So, and then here I wanted to talk to you directly. So, I think a few minutes ago, before it started, I recorded a small video for you how to structure. I'm just sharing 2 methods of structuring. Please watch these 2 methods of structuring when you can break a topic as abstract as the one that we just talked about. That is, mathematics is the music of reason. I suppose you can really understand. But then uh, decryption of title is very important, because quite often, if you do not decrypt the title has got those keywords in them. Title has got singular, plural in them. Title has got flow of them. Title has got metaphorical and literal meaning of them. Title has got so many things. It is beyond the scope of this platform to really go too much into detail. However, it's uh, uh, about 15 minutes odd video that I have recorded. I like Mr. Ankit to play it out for you. Can you play, Mr. Ankit, this video?
Sure, sir. I'm playing
And
it
I'll
right
be
now.
around. All right. And then I'll be around to explain that further. If you've got any question, you can always ask. Here we go.
This is in continuation of our discussion. Here is a small patch that I recorded especially for today. I would like to share with you that how we should go on structuring a particular kind of thought so that it can be expressed in the form of essay. See, in the examination hall, as you understand, the time is really flying very fast, and then you have to be performing and giving in one go the real performance. I mean, you don't have the time to really go for several times editing. Of course, editing is important. That I will be explaining later. But then you have to be very clear about what you're going to do. So I have developed a 10-point strategy through which you can possibly framework your essay and make a very effective flowchart. This has been used by students over years, and I have got very positive feedback about it. In fact, I like you to learn it and use this workshop as an occasion to practice and then master it. So, first of all, let us understand how this 10 points that we need to be learning about. So, you first of all, you take the topic. That's very obvious, the topic that you have got. You're taking the topic, and that topic has to be subsequently broken into ideas. This may sound a little abstract at the moment, but then you have got ideas like idea one, idea two, idea three, idea four. So you got 4 dimensions or 5 dimensions or 6 dimensions, whatever ideas that you have got. Those ideas, don't worry if it sounds abstract, we'll explain that. Then these ideas have to be broken into paragraph. You can think that I can write 1 paragraph or 2 paragraph for this, or maybe I'll write 3 paragraphs for this. So you're thinking of writing paragraph, 3 paragraphs for this, 2 paragraphs for this. And then when you have thought about this paragraph, the next thing that you should think about how I am going to really explain this. And explanation would mean that I have to be having the whole thing flowered in the form of analysis. So now you would look for these are the basis on which I'm going to do this analysis. So I'm going to do this analysis on 3 formats or 2 formats or maybe 3 lines or 3 facets I would have for this. And you're writing keywords for each one of them. So these are like, I would imagine, that basis on which you are writing about your paragraph. And this is what you have understood, that paragraph is going to be on these parameters. So this is what we have got as paragraphs that we can imagine. These are like paragraph, 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 paragraph. So many paragraphs that you can think that you would have. And then you are writing 1, 2 keyword about the paragraph, and you are doing it as part of, I would say, the rough work space that they have given. Now you can actually see the entire essay. I would imagine, if I can make it simple for you, this is like level 1, topic. This is level 2, that is idea. Then we have got level 3, that is paragraph, and that is level 4, that is analysis. So this paragraph is being analyzed. So this paragraph, 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 all these paragraphs that we have got, they're basically analyzed. So you can have, let's say in this, you can have some portions of, let's say, data. You can have some example, some logic, or something of that nature that you are thinking of that can be taken. Of course, I would not like to take too much of your time, but then by these 4 points, you can actually see your entire essay. Your entire essay is visible to you. And then after that comes the most crucial part. That is when you are editing and examining this flowchart. So this is a topic, this is idea, and this is the most crucial part. I would like to give you some explanation. I think 2 formats I'll give you for how to break that topic into ideas. From that, it is very logical, and after that, it's still more logical. But then, after seeing this, I would like you to do editing or examination. And there are 3 examination I would like you to do. One examination is where I'm trying to see that if these 2 paragraphs and those the logic or example or fact or reasoning or whatever, I'm not getting enough. So in that case, instead of having them at here, that is at the level of uh, paragraph, I can possibly make one straight paragraph on this. This is called as layering. Moving between idea and paragraph is called as layering. Of course, a little bit of practice is required. The second thing that you should do is that if you find that this paragraph and this paragraph seem to be having similar logic, similar data, similar factors, well, in that case, I would not be very keen that you should be having 2 paragraphs. So merge them into one. Use pencils for this. This is called as fusion. But then some paragraph that you have got, let's say on this paragraph, you are not able to generate enough data or enough logic, or analysis is not very powerful. So it is better that you cancel this also. So these are the 3 things that you're doing. You are layering, that is moving between paragraph and idea. You are fusioning, you are bringing these 2 similar ideas together. Or third thing that you're doing is that you are not happy with a particular analysis, you're canceling it. So these are the 3 things which I imagine that you can possibly do. After that, the next part that you have got coming up here is basically ordering. Like you have seen that I'm going to go for, let's say, this idea as first. Quite possibly this can be first idea, this can be second idea, this can be third idea, and this can be fourth idea. So at idea level, I can break them. And then also you can possibly break also, like we have got these 3 paragraphs that happened here. So you decide that which paragraph I should be actually going in for. So maybe I'll take this as the first paragraph, this as the second, this as the third. And then after that, this paragraph will be first, this will be second, this will be third of the second. And the third, I have just got 1 paragraph, so that will be 1 because I have fused them in my example here, or layered them. So, and then probably this one goes away. So in fourth, I would like to take this only as 1 paragraph. So I think this is one thing which you have to do, is ordering. And the thumb rule of ordering is that write the most powerful paragraph first after the introduction, and after that one can imagine that you go for the second most powerful paragraph as the second last paragraph. Now after that, the next thing which I'm expecting that you should be doing is I would imagine linker. Paragraphs have to be linked very effectively, and for that linking, I would imagine like you have got paragraph 1 to 2. Here we can say that this is the linker I'm going to use. Then 2 to 3, this is the linker I'm going to use. And then after that, you're going to 2, then we have got 3 that has to be linked with this. This is the linker I'm going to use. Then I have to use from this to this. This is another linker that I'm using. And then after that, I'm going to go from 2 to 3. Then we have got from this linker that I have got. So likewise, you have got the entire essay is very much effectively linked. And that is what precisely I would imagine that you have done. This brings us to 10 exclusive points. We have just done 10 exclusive points. Let me quickly remind you of those 10 points. The first point I was trying to share with you is, if I can possibly come out of it. The first point is topic. The second is idea, and that is something which I need you to tell as to how we can break them into idea. The third is paragraph, and fourth is analysis. The fifth after that, topic, idea, paragraph, analysis, and then we have examine or edit. And there are three examines we have got. The sixth point that we can think of, that examination that I'm doing, is layering. Shall we move between ideas and paragraph or not? The seventh I told you that we are going to go for is fusion. If you remember, similar ideas, I have joined them together. Eighth, I'm going to go for is cancellation. When I'm not happy about a particular idea, I can possibly go on cancellation. The ninth that we have got here is ordering, and the 10th is linker. This is a very effective tool, and especially when you're writing essay in the examination condition, we don't have mighty option of going wrong. I think this 10-pointer agenda that really helps. But then, as I told you, the most crucial thing here remains is that when you have got a topic, how to first crack it into idea. Especially when we have got a situation where we find that it is difficult because the topics are abstract. I think there are so many ways that we can break them into different type of ideas that we have got. I can possibly share only two of them here. And then one basis on which you can break them into ideas, different ideas is thought framework. And thought framework, there are different ways of thinking about questioning. I suppose one most crucial form of making a question is 5W and 1H. I mean, I suppose if you have got a topic in pursuit of excellence, if that is a topic, you can have what is excellence, why excellence, how excellence, where excellence, when excellence. I think you can possibly take up all those, and then you all are experts of writing answers. Can I assume that? Well, you're all experts of writing answers. So start mentally making questions about those topics, and based on that topic, you can go on writing about it, and that is what we can call them as thought framework. The second, there's a lot of things, a lot of other forms of forming questions are there. Then we can possibly think of the other ways to break that topic into idea is for especially philosophical topics, abstract topics, is that you can possibly take up the one angle is that from the philosophy's point of view, and then another is from the philosopher's point of view. Like useless life is an early death, if that is a topic asked in the past. You can think how you have got existentialist would believe about it, how idealist would believe, how life is seen by Jaina philosophies, or for that matter, deontological philosophies, or the philosophies of utilitarian nature, or Epicurean philosophy, or I mean, different kind of philosophies. You can think from those perspectives and write about the same topic. Similarly, you can think from the philosopher's perspective as how Buddha would talk about, or Mahavira would talk about, or Nietzsche will talk about, or Mahatma Gandhi would talk about, or Baba Sahib Ambedkar would talk about life. So in that perspective, I imagine that you can possibly make different paragraphs. but they would all depend on lots of practice that you have got. In fact, in this small patch that I have recorded for you, I am just trying to share that you get an idea as to how the topics can be broken. I think I can get back to the live session after this, and then I'll take up your questions and any doubts that you have about it. Let's go back live again.
So that was a good patch. I suppose I recorded it reasonably well. I mean, I think this is what I was trying to tell you, that there are so many ways that you can take a topic and break it. I gave you example of two of them. There are many more techniques like day frameworking that we have got. Then we have organic frameworking that we have got. Then the optional frameworking that we have got. Subject frameworking we have got. However, the two popular ones I shared with you, one was the philosophical abstract one, and the other was the sort of thought framework where the questions are asked. Again, the questions, if I look at that, that may not be uh, uh, only one way to like asking question. We have, I suppose I gave you one example there, is the fundamental question, the five W's and one H. But then if you research a little bit around, there's a Benjamin Bloom's approach of questioning. Benjamin Bloom is a classical form of questioning. There are six different types of questioning style that he talks about. The Socratic method of asking questions, that's another way to really make your answer to be taken to the next level. Hypothetical set of questioning. There can be several ways of methods of questioning that we have got. And then that can be possibly learned. And if you do little research, you can possibly flower your essay very effectively. Similarly, the philosophical abstract topics also can be broken. But then I told you that there are so many forms, and then when you have got all the forms learned, you can pick up the one that suits you most. And I think I shared with you two of them here. But then there are other methods also, as I would like to mention. I think, thank you, Mr. Ankit, for that seamless playing that we have got. How to break into five W's. Amarjit, those five W's are very standard, like what, where, why, when. I mean, I think those standard five, you can take up any topic. Let's say, for example, I have got the first topic in the list that you will receive is judicial activism. So one question that you can make, a very basic question, what is judicial activism? So one paragraph can possibly go into that. So I think how judicial activism happens. Make a question based on that, and you can write an answer that becomes a paragraph. Where we have judicial activism, when we had started judicial activism, why we have judicial activism. I suppose keeping those in mind, Amarjit, you can possibly take up a topic and based on that start asking question, and then that is how one would imagine that your question emerges. Is that coming clear, Amarjit? So I think, Sushmita, good afternoon. I suppose coming back to, yeah, it's clear to you. So I think this is some practice that goes into that, and then some practice under some guidance that will make the whole thing happen. But coming back to our essay writing, I would like to tell you that we all understand that essay is written into three parts. But before I go to those three parts of essay, let me just once again remind you that please watch this video again if it is not clear to you about those 10 points I gave. I'm sorry. Sorry about my bad throat. Ice cream yesterday night was too good. And that's the price I'm paying now. So what I'm trying to share with you at the moment is you have those 10 pointers flow charting technique. Please learn that, master that, do lots of practice. It may take 1 hour in the beginning, but gradually you will find more comfortable. And then in the examination hall, it'll take about 20-25 minutes. And that's worth it. That's very much worth it. And then I suppose the act of writing 1,200 words doesn't take much time. So I suppose you can really do fast with a speed of about 25 to 30 words per minute. I think you can really finish up that many words very fast. And then save some words for uh, editing. I'll tell you later. But then those 10 pointers, I was very keen. I'm reminding you again, like topic, idea, paragraph, analysis. Then comes evaluation or examine or editing. And the three editing that we have got, one is layering, the other we have got is fusion, another that we have got is cancellation. You may not do all the three. You may not do two. You may not do one. You may not use any one of them. But then give this opportunity, give this option to your mind that let me try doing it. And then after that, you have got two things, that is ordering and linker. That's the 10 point. Here we have got Aditya asking question. Since linker is used to conclude by linking similar paragraph, does ordering may help in this? Yes. Ordering would let you know that you're linking from which one to which one. And then if you are very clear right in the flow chart itself, your linker will become very effective. And that is the reason why I said that it has to have a decent flow. And that flow will come at two levels. One flow is at intra-paragraph flow. Within the paragraph, the flow is smooth. There are not too many jumpy ideas happening in the same paragraph. And the second, there is a flow between the two paragraphs. Like from one paragraph to other paragraph, there is a linker existing. And then I'll explain that linker in a while. But as I told you that we have three exclusive parts of essay: introduction, body, and conclusion. There are certain things that you should be basically trying to put into introduction, not essentially in the order that I'm going to tell you, not essentially exclusively, but then you should mentally tick box that I've done this, I've done this, I've done this, I've done this. One component of the essay introduction is announcement. Announcement is one in which you are actually establishing a rapport with the reader and letting the reader know as to what is this. I told you, essay is your personal journey. But since it is a personal journey and you're not traveling alone, you're taking somebody else along who is expected to travel with you, you have to tell the person, this is my interpretation of this judicial activism. And this is my interpretation of this topic. That is, if youth knew, if age could. So that is something which has to be conveyed. That's announcement. Depending on the time, you can announce immediately, you can announce delayed also. Depending on the clarity, you can have explicit announcement or implicit announcement. So there are different forms, technical forms of announcement. You can do any one of them and then convey to the reader. The second technique, second component, I would say, of this is scoping. Scoping is like giving a broad idea to the reader. Hey, this is what you can expect in my essay. Since this is not something as a diary that you have written, diary you write for yourself. You don't expect others to read your diary. You're writing an essay for others, somebody to evaluate. It is therefore imperative that you ensure that the other person has no surprises and then has been taken on board effectively. And then for taking on board or onboarding, scoping is required. And for scoping, one has to give a gist of the ideas which are contained in that. What all basically is comprised in that has to be conveyed. And that comes as part of, I would imagine, as the broad idea, I would say, that will be of the a gist of essay, shall we say? Gist of essay that we got. And if you look at the flow chart, from that flow chart, you could possibly provide to the examiner that this is what you can expect in that essay. The third component, and then probably one of the most vital component of your introduction, is attention grabber. Attention grabber is one in which you ensure the examiner for the next half an hour is not having anything in its mind but your essay. And you can do so many techniques through which you can possibly draw the attention of the examiner. One is by curiosity, writing something which is making the person curious to read the entire essay. Imagine if the examiner with attention reads your entire essay, ends up giving you more marks. Curiosity can be one of the techniques. Stressing the importance of a particular thing. If you emphasize that, hey, this is very, very important. Some recent information, some startling fact, some quotes, some anecdotes, some philosophical take. I mean, I think if you have any one of this or any two of this technique that you use and ensure the examiner is not thinking anything but your essay, you done a job. You nailed it. So it is very important that you be particular about this attention grabber part of the introduction. Introduction and conclusion are the two places where examiner is all mind, reading with lots of concentration. So I would imagine that you have got attention of the examiner attracted by this. And the fourth component of the introduction is tonality. You have a pitch at which you are delivering. Pitch can be pessimist, serious, somber, optimist, enthusiastic, or maybe tongue in cheek, or whatever. So I suppose whichever tone that you have got, that has to be conveyed in the beginning so that the examiner is not having any surprises in his tone. My point, therefore, is that you are trying all that you have got to ensure that examiner is onboarded, and that is what the role of introduction is. So the four basic component of the introduction would be announcement, scoping, attention grabbing, and tonality. But then for the mental tick boxing, I'm giving them as separate, but they can possibly be interwoven with each other. Say, for example, one would imagine that you have done a scoping in a manner that tone has been set. You've done attention grabber in a manner that we have got the scoping has been done. Announcement can be included as part of anecdote. So I suppose they can be interwoven, but then there are four classical components of an introduction, which I thought I should bring to your notice. Then comes different paragraphs that you have got, and this is one place most of the essay is written. And then you have to ensure that main body examiner is reading all the paragraph with excitement. And then there can be many methods through which you can make the paragraph. I think one of the classical method is Tolmin method. Tolmin, Toulmin. Tolmin method is, as I remember, is this CGWBRQ. That is, first he says like you must have a claim. G, you must have a ground. I mean, that must be a data for that. Whatever is taking that as a ground should be there. So, claim, ground, warrant, some theory or whatever that you have to give for it, if at all. You may not give all six of them. C, G, W, B. B is like backing. Then we have rebuttal, if at all that's required, and then qualifiers. So this is like a Tolmin method through which you can write a very effective paragraph. Also, you can have a PSE method, the problem, solution, evaluation method. PSE method. You can also have one method which I have evolved over a period of time and recommend people is left method. You take a thesis statement, major idea, and then you can give logic, L, E, example, F, fact, T, tone. So LEFT method that you can take up, any method that you think, be it a Tolmin method, PSE method, or left method, you write a balanced paragraph. Of course, there's a lot of training that is required, a lot of hand-holding is required, and then a lot of practice at your part is required. And that will start writing an effective paragraph. But then a paragraph which itself is a mini essay cannot be left alone, cannot be written in silos. It has to be part of the subsequent paragraph and part of the previous paragraph. So continuity is maintained. For that, linker is an important tool. And there can be multiple types of linker, like we have got signposting, those flagging that we can have. We can have another form of linker we can imagine is stock phrasing. And then the third type of linker I can imagine, which you can possibly use, is logical transition. When you are creating an expectancy in the mind of the reader, so use any one of the linker. You can have a forward linker, like the last thing in the next paragraph, or you have backward linker, like the first thing in the next paragraph, or you have a double linker. So forward linker, backward linker, double linker, any linker that you use, there has to be some continuity. And then it is not going to happen naturally, because naturally the ideas come separately and then ideas come in your mind, not in my mind. To take me along on this journey, one has to be careful of it. Then you have to be continuously mentored, monitored, and then told about it that, hey, this is how you need to be attending it. Then comes the next format component is conclusion. When I talk about conclusion, I would like you to have four components I can mention about conclusion also. Like one component of conclusion would be a summary, where you are reminding the examiner that these are my USPs. Please don't forget while giving marks, because examiner is going to give you marks after reading the conclusion. Save some time extra for conclusion writing. Then postscripting. There's some ideas which have come later, or some ideas who are like weak for full paragraph. You can possibly include as part of concluding remark itself. Tonality. Once again, you have to pitch the tone and then write a few sentences which sets the tone or the pitch of the essay, the frequency of the essay in the correct manner. The fourth is something about the future, some open-ended line, some hope, some solution, some sets of humility. So you have got summary, you have got postscript, you have got tone, and you have got future. So this is how you actually end up writing conclusion. But of course, that requires practice. I'm just sensitizing you that you should practice on these lines. But then I would like to tell you that a lot of people quite often are not able to get the score that they deserve. Is because they always thought that they have enough information and then they can produce an essay. No, it is a lot of practice, lots of mentorship, lots of guidance, and lots of course correction by others. Because it's your idea, you lived it. I can't understand. If you don't understand, that's not good enough. As simple as that. So I suppose one has to practice a lot, and then once you have written, you should go for editing. There are two forms of editing one can say. I would like you to do maximalist editing while you are doing it at home. Maximalist editing, like changing the thesis statement, questioning your analysis, doubting your linkers, changing the verb, weaker verb to it has been with lots of difficulty. One could do it. I mean, I think struggle to do it. I mean, that kind of word that you can, wordiness can be taken out, uh, powerful verbs can be there, and then all those chiasmus and anaphora, all those methods of expression to be incorporated, and spelling, punctuations, these all to be taken, and do it as much editing as you can on the essay that you write home, so that in the examination hall you go for minimalist editing, and there you can use the footnoting technique also for incorporating something, supplanting something, or kind of deleting something. So footnoting technique can be used for editing, for the minimalist editing in the examination hall. However, I think like you to keep certain facts in your mind, that when you're writing essay or practicing essay, uh, do not take it for granted that I have information, I'll be able to do it. No, nobody does it. Nobody does it. It is here. I would imagine that you have done enough practice. Write ideas which are as fresh as possible, because examiner has been reading the same topic for days, and if you're writing the same stale ideas, I mean, I think you get an average marks. I don't want that. So you have to have fresh ideas, sensitivity of that. Also, varied structure of sentences. I suppose if you want to create some urgency, like when you want to create some attention or urgency in the speak, you give a gap. I did it just now. So the same technique that you have got is you write short sentences. You write a short sentence that brings urgency and draws attention. Subheading that they have got. I don't want to say that do subheading or not do subheading. You can do, but then in paragraph also you can create urgency by varying the structure, by varying the when I say varying the structure, simple sentence, simple complex sentences, complex compound sentences, the different types of sentences that you can have. Also, you can have the size of sentences change, and smaller sentence, attention is attracted by that. Also, you should be having technique of all those allusion, chiasmus, anaphora, some special uh, another technique, opposition technique that you got, opposition technique like positioning the similar things together. I mean, they really attract the attention. And always practice for 80 minutes essay. to write 90 minutes essay. 80 minutes essay, which means like time for planning, time for writing, time for editing, and then stay away from the controversial ideas. And these are the small things I thought. Get your essays evaluated as much as you can before you actually go for the examination hall, so that you have a clear idea as to what your writing is being received by the person in the manner to the extent that you intended. And I think this is, I thought I should be sharing with you on this platform today. But I'll be very happy to take up if there is some questions in your you have got in your mind that you want me to elaborate on. I'll be very happy to take up those questions. Do you have any question? No question? Well, I suppose if you are writing mains, I hope that tomorrow or day after we should be having the results of PT coming. We would be basically for 1 week, we will have a dedicated session for essay practice that we have got, where we'll not only explain the techniques and the material and the special effects to make your essay fresh and unique, we'll share, but we will also ensure that you write an effective introduction, ensure that you write an effective thesis statement, ensure that you write effective analysis, ensure that you write an effective conclusion. And then by making you practice, which has got a very unique program that we call it as personalized skill development program, where I'm personally going to work on a few because we can't take big number and it can't be really possible for an individual to work intensively on the person. So we have a very small group, and that will be entirely based on the first come first basis. I think, and based on that, uh, I would be taking you through that personalized skill development program, and you can have details about it. But then that will be, since a very small group, I can only take up the people who have come earlier. And when the number goes a particular level, we'll stop that group. And then on Zoom, we will be having a proctored, it's one of its kind attempt being done in the country, where I would like you to give a task, give you time, make you perform, and then see the result and then evaluate and get back to you individually. That's something which is what we are planning. Oh, here is a question coming. Can you suggest strategies for introduction? Well, in the introduction of the essay, I told you that there cannot be one set of rule that can apply. One standard classical introduction should have four components. I told you that you should be having announcement, that you should establish a rapport with the reader through the topic. This is what I understand as topic. So that's one thing which is a component of introduction. The second component of introduction was scoping, that you gave a broad idea as to what to expect in the essay. The third is that, you grab the attention of the reader, and then this can be a story, which can be a startling fact, which can be an anecdote, or which can be a quote, which can be a data, which can be a case study, the recent development, anything of that nature, the curiosity, you're attracting the attention of the reader. And then after that, the fourth thing was setting a pitch, setting the tone of that essay is also a prerequisite of your introduction. So I think these are four things, not essentially exclusive. I am repeating that, not essentially exclusive, not essentially in this order. But the idea is that you have done these four things so that you have a complete introduction written. And then that's what I basically explain. Sir, how PSTP is different from other test series? Uh, Test series, of course, is a very standard tool of preparing. But then test series, when you are taking you through, they are not basically observing you on a real time basis. That's one big difference that you have got. Test series that you have got, when you complete the total thing, then you are being evaluated. But then while you have got test series given, the whole thing is evaluated. But then uh, you can be made to practice about singing a song. But then you can be also made to practice the notes, sa, re, ga, ma. You practice do or re and mi and fa and so and la and ti. Separately. So PSTP is a unique program which makes you practice the tone, makes you practice, and then after that you can always sing any song that you have got. And this is one thing which is where we are asking 1.5 hours plus every single day of the week, where we'll take up one paper and 1 week we dedicate, and not the whole time of yours. I would only ask about 1.5, 2 hours of yours every single day, and then we'll focus on paper one, paper two, another week, paper three, another week, paper four, another week, essay. And this way, exclusively make you practice. Practice is taken for granted in essay, in the test series that you have practiced. But then if there is somebody who's as old as mine, who's sitting with you and making you practice, I suppose, to my understanding, that's what where the coach can be. Will ensure that you are reporting in the field in the morning. It stands there and sees that you are throwing that many balls and doing all the exercises that is required. So that is something which is where PSTP is a unique change. It's a paradigm shift in preparing for this examination, and it's going to be useful for those people who are writing mains this year. Very intense program that you have got. It's like a camp where I'm going to take you through drills to ensure that before you go to the battle, you know what all it actually takes. And then I am going to do it personally. And I know my generation, how they evaluate, what they expect, and then somebody like me would be observing maybe small points, but then they'll be, I promise, will be very, very vital. PSTP is very unique from that perspective. There will be also test component of that, but then there's something which is very special where every individual is personally being mentored and then curated for the kind of requirements that it's got. Then we have got, sir, what content sources can we use to make our essay standard, and how can we use it AI for the essay paper? Well, I mean, I am one person who is always appreciated technology for the kind of requirement. I told you, if you remember a little while ago when I was talking about that for every theme, you cannot prepare on the essay topics, but you can prepare on the themes that we have got: education, and then women, and then whatever. For that, I like you to look for the books that has been written. Maybe you can ask AI, a generative AI, you can ask what are the books on education. Pick up some books, read some excerpts, and then from that you can make small note about it. That's what called as digest making. Make digest on education, make digest on technology, make digest on political administrative, make digest on women, and then maybe through some books, some case studies, some data, some institution, some international best practices, some quotes. I mean, I think some powerful verbs. I think these are the heads around which you can make your own digest. And if the digest is ready, you have the stock. And then depending on whatever they demand, you can use some of the stocks and then write good essay. And you know the technique of how to really structure. So you'll never have problem of facts if you made a good digest. And that's what I was trying to explain. I hope Rajendra is clear to you. And then, of course, you can use books, you can use AI, anything that you want. You can possibly do that. Any other question? I suppose that's all questions that we had got. I think uh, I really thank you for the patience. I hope I have made some use of this afternoon and been able to convey some of those tools. But then there's a lot depends on how you practice, how you are being corrected about the mistakes that you are doing. And if you are on to those, I suppose you will be proud of your marks. It was really, I enjoyed talking to you. And then thank you for the questions that you had. We'll be very happy at KSG doing whatever is required. And then I'll be personally very keen on sharing my experience and collection on the issues of the essay writing techniques and the material on that whenever you personally require it. And till then, as always, my best wishes are with you. Thank you.